Hey friendo, Steve here. Welcome back to Wrestle Juice. I know this doesn't look like Wrestle Juice. This is actually the Friendo Club wrestling set, but I'm trying a new setup, a new camera. Larson's going to be here tomorrow, which if I actually upload this will be later on today. And so I'm testing out the mics with the new recording device, with the new camera. And I figured, man, I'd just go ahead and get a rant in on the day's news because it was kind of a big one. I woke up and through groggy eyes, I don't know how many of you guys do the same thing, but yeah, I wake up and immediately I pick up my phone and nobody had texted me. Although this is one of the things that I really miss about my dad is that he would usually, my dad was an early guy, right? He was an early to rise guy. So at 4 o'clock in the morning, he'd get up and he'd do his giant thing of juice. And he'd usually listen to like Sirius XM. And I'm pretty sure that by the time I had woken up, the news had broken that WWE Raw, which has had its home on USA Network since it moved off of what, TNN or Spike or whatever it was ages ago, was moving to Netflix at the start of like 2025, I think it is. So January 2025, we got this last year of Raw being on USA Network, and then it's moving to streaming service Netflix for potentially 20 years or as little as 5. I'm not going to hazard a guess as to which of those scenarios will play out, although I kind of feel like it's going to be either or. I kind of feel like in 5 years, Netflix is either going to be just as solid can be and have a rosy outlook on their future, or for some reason, the streaming wars will have caught up with Netflix. They'll have not found another Stranger Things that they can hang their hat on. And this, concept of paying $500 million per year, which is what they're going to be giving the WWE for not just Raw, but all of the outside of the United States programming, like SmackDown, NXT, Premium Live events are going to be on Netflix. I think like outside of the United States, I'm sure there are probably some exceptions to that. But my dad would have been the one to break that news to me. 9 times out of 10, he'll always get there late. Like it'll be, I don't know, the next morning or noon, the day of, probably usually while I'm filming my episode. So I called him the Going In Raw Insider. And so I'm sure he probably would have broken this news to me. But no, I woke up, looked at my phone, and it was the first thing that I saw because I think one of the friendos probably loaded up my mentions with this news. And I got to thinking, obviously we talked about it extensively in a back and forth discussion at the Going In Raw podcast on Tuesday in response to the news. It was a packed episode because there was also a rumor that Kazuchika Okada was coming to NXT. And God, I hope that's not true. You can get our full conversation there. But I was trying to think of like, okay, what are the pros and cons? Because I saw a lot of people in my mentions discussing, okay, well, what does this mean? Now that it's going to be a short year away from being on Netflix, is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? They're on Fox now, but they're heading to USA. Plus, they've got these network specials as part of that deal. NXT is going to be on the CW, which technically is a network. It's an actual network. It's not a cable channel. It's a network. So they got network covered to a degree. They've got SmackDown coming back to USA, and now they're diving into the streaming land. So what does that mean for us, for the fans? Are we cool with this? Do we like this? What are the pros? What are the cons? One of the pros that I can see is, to be honest with you, it's going to be less of a hassle to catch it live. I'm assuming that Netflix is going to have it live worldwide or live in the United States. Anyways, which means 5 p.m. Eastern is when I'm going to get to watch it. Now, I can currently watch it because Xfinity, Comcast, allows us to watch it through the app live on the East Coast, and that's good. USA has their app, which if you sign into that, even on the West Coast, you can watch the East Coast feed. But it's kind of annoying. It's kind of a hassle, and the quality seems to not be great. And I feel like Netflix pumping a bunch of money into this, they're going to make sure that you're going to get this at the highest possible resolution. Whereas you're watching it through a streaming app, I feel like it's not like 4K. I feel like it's not terribly good. Like half the time when for example, when I watch NXT, it like pixelates through my, like it gets all pixely. And I know some of that is because I got the biggest TV at the most affordable price. I understand that, you know, it probably doesn't have the highest refresh rate, my TV. Maybe by the time a year passes, I'll go ahead and upgrade that. But yeah, I feel like on Netflix, it'll probably have, I don't know, better picture quality. Maybe that's like a small thing. And I guess that depends on the service you're using and the TV, but I'm just thinking to myself, I know obviously one of the things that people complain about is the price. Up until now, you didn't need to pay for Prime or Netflix or Hulu or whatever to watch. If you've got cable television, you can watch pretty much everything WWE does except for Peacock. Because you got to also get Peacock on top of cable TV, or I guess YouTube or Sling or one of the TV streaming services out there. I know Hulu also has, like, you know, Next Day as well. So yeah, this is, up until now, nobody had to have Netflix. Nobody had to have Prime in order to watch WWE programming. And now, for at least a year until the Peacock deal is up, you're going to need television, including cable TV, plus Peacock, plus Netflix if you want to get all of the stuff. And I don't know, Netflix, you can get like the ad version, I think, for $7, but I imagine by the time a year passes, they'll probably up that to like $9, and all the other prices will raise up too. Apparently, it's going to run ad-free for the most premium version of Netflix. The problem with that is that doesn't mean that it's going to be 2 hours and 20 minutes or whatever, you know, cutting out commercials would actually be. It just means that for those, you know, periods of time during the show when they run commercials for normies, the premium people, the people who are paying that extra change for their Netflix, we're going to get treated to wrestling featuring, like, you know, rest holds and shit's like not going to happen during when those commercial breaks are running. Or we'll get what they do during premium live events on Peacock for people paying the extra $5. We're going to get like WWE ads, like ads for WWE stuff. So I don't know. I kind of feel like the advertisement situation, I'll be honest with you. This is me. This is a very specific thing for me. I kind of prefer just having advertisements over WWE commercial packages. I kind of like local advertisements, to be honest with you. And I kind of prefer that over like dumbed down wrestling for 2 minutes. Like, okay, let's just powder. Let's do some Gaga. Let's let's use a rest hold. So like, I feel like the ad situation isn't really, for me personally, it's not really a pro. Maybe, I don't know. I guess it sort of depends. It's like watching whenever they do the first hour of Raw is commercial free. To me, it just feels like a longer slog without commercials. Maybe I'm just the weirdo who thinks that the commercials sort of it breaks up Raw in smaller segments and makes it much more palatable. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. So there's one, you know, obvious, depending on your viewing habits, pro or con. The price is a con, obviously. Nobody wants to pay extra, but I already have Netflix. I probably have too many streaming services. I think we might be getting rid of Hulu, but that might be bundled with Disney, which honestly, like, who even needs Disney anymore? Although I hear Echo's good. So yeah, those are the only pros and cons I can think of, really. Netflix is it's an incredibly easy service to use. So I kind of feel like that's like the major pro. I just feel like I'd rather try to find something to watch on Netflix than on the USA app, which now that I think about it, doesn't even work on my big screen. I have to go through my Chromecast to use it. Because like sometimes it just sits there and it loads, or I have to do it on my computer and then load up my Chromecast from there. I have to cast it to my TV, which I have to go from room to room. That's just a pain in the ass. I feel like I shouldn't have to do that. So I don't know. There you go. There's the pros and cons for Netflix. What do you guys think in the comments below? Really, honestly, I'm just testing out this new setup, but I figure you guys probably want to talk about Netflix, so here I'm talking about Netflix. Load up some more pros and cons in the comments below. Let's be civilized. It's Netflix 2025. Let's go.